So I'm taking you to her little burial site. It's in my backyard. That's my house, and it's right back here. A little rose bush. A friend that volunteers at the cafe named Ezra left this little, I'm pretty sure they're roses. They have thorns, so they must be roses. He left that for me the morning after Ollie passed. And it meant a lot. Makes me happy to look out the window and see it, and to come out here and be able to visit her little area. Hi guys, thanks for checking back in. It's Ryan with the Shabby Tabby. I am here today to talk about something a little different than what we usually talk about. And it's a little bit difficult, but I'm going to do my best because I feel like almost all of us have been in the same situation, and that having someone to talk about it or talk to about this difficult situation is always super helpful. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about this particular topic, and it's actually helped me a lot. We are talking about how to grieve the loss of a pet. And that's not something I really wanted to talk about anytime soon. But as we know, sometimes these things happen and we can't prepare ourselves for them. And I definitely was not prepared. But I will do my best to help everyone out and just talk about my experience. I mean, I know that everyone grieves differently, but I do know the things that are helpful and what's helped me in the past few days. I've gone through this before, but everyone is a little bit different. So I'm just going to talk about my cat Ollie, which I'm pretty sure everybody knows that watches these videos or that follows the Shabby Tabby at all. Ollie, our little tortie girl. In 2017, I actually experienced a loss of my cat Brody, who I had for 10 years since I was, super young. He was my best friend in the whole world, and he died pretty suddenly. This was a really hard one because he didn't just die in his sleep or anything. It was a long process. So I was with him the whole way. It was sudden, but he was in the hospital for about a week. I would visit him every day, and I wasn't completely in shock that it happened. So I think I was grieving throughout that whole week, and a week really doesn't sound like a lot, but it was just a slower process than when something happens super suddenly. Brody was my best friend. I adopted him when I was probably in my early 20s. I just wanted a kitten, like many of us do. And I found him on Craigslist. That was the way to find kittens back then. And I typed in orange and white kitten, spoke to a lady, she had a litter, I went and visited him and picked him out, and he was my best friend for a solid 10 years. He went through so much with me. Breakups, different jobs, college, career changes, everything. My buddy. Losing him was really, really, really hard. It was probably my first real difficult loss. After losing him, I just became so obsessed with the cat world. So I'd always be on the shelter websites and looking at different rescues on Facebook, and just looking and looking always at cats. And I said, I need to do something. So I started volunteering for Golden Paw Society in Huntington, and I worked at their Petco, where they have one of their Petcos. There was a bunch of cats that from the rescue that would stay there, and I would go there every Friday and take care of the cats, and it was the best 2 hours of my week, literally. And it brought me so much peace to be able to be with cats and know that I'm helping them and just sit with them. And to see that it made them so happy, it really helped me so much. So that was really helpful, but I was still searching for something more. And somehow Brody dying helped me realize how many cats are in need of homes and how packed all these shelters and rescues are. I really had no idea. I never really looked into that stuff because I had my cat. I wasn't looking for another one, and I just, lived my life. In your 20s, you're kind of, trying to figure yourself out. So after realizing how many cats are really out there that need homes, and being euthanized left and right at shelters, I started visiting cat cafes. And that's how the whole Shabby Tabby started. So that was a positive thing that came from the loss of Brody. A couple of months after I lost him, I started going to shelters, and the one near me was Brookhaven. And I was going specifically in search of an orange and white kitten. And I think a lot of times when we lose a pet, we don't want to replace them, but we want to adopt someone that is them. Like we're trying to get them back. And we find so many people come into the cat cafe that lose a pet, lose a cat, and they want to almost replicate them. And they want the same, either a black cat or orange and white or gray, and I just lost my tortie and I want to adopt another tortie. And I totally get that. So that's what I did. I went there. I wanted an orange and white kitten. And I found a couple. The shelter always has cats and kittens. So I found a couple and I visited them. I went home to think about it. I think I went back another once or twice to visit them. And someone working with the cats said to me, "Hey, why don't you just meet this cat? She's been here for a while, like a couple months. She is older," which was never something I even considered. I didn't have anything against older, but I didn't consider it. I just wanted a kitten, and I wanted a boy, and I wanted it to be orange and white. So, like I said, a lot of people try to do this and replicate the cat that they lost. So she handed me, I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I love cats. Just give them all to me. I'll hold them all. You want me to meet this cat? I will. This little old 10-year-old tortie named Sapphire. So she handed her to me. I'm like, aw, she's cute. And I held her, and she perched up on my shoulder, and she was the sweetest little thing. And the opposite of anything I could have thought that I would adopt. And she was so cute and loved to be held. And that's really what I wanted. I don't think I necessarily wanted someone to replicate Brody. I just wanted another best friend. And this is why I stress out so much over people coming in specifically for kittens or specifically for gray or specifically for long hair, because that stuff isn't really what's important. And you might not even realize it until you adopt that best friend. So I don't know. I just said, okay, what do I need to do? Like, this is the cat that I want. Even though she's the opposite of everything I came in to look for. And they said, nothing, just fill this out and this is the fee. And they put her in her little cardboard carrier and I took her home. And she cried and she had this cute little raspy meow, and I took her home. And that was the beginning of our best friendship. She was so skinny, and I couldn't figure out a name. And my mom thought of Olive Oil, like from Popeye, the really skinny lady. And it was just kind of perfect. And I'm like, Olive, that's a perfect name. And then obviously, eventually she became Ollie. And she was the best. Seniors just have like so much personality, and they're just like, I've met so many cats in the past few years of having the cafe, and I love them all. They're all so different. But I can truly promise you, and I really, really feel such a bond with the seniors because they've been alive so long. They are who they are. Their personalities are developed already, and you really know what you're getting. I think a lot of people don't want to adopt seniors because they don't know how much time they'll have with them, which I do completely get, but I wouldn't go back for anything. I must have had Ollie about 4 years. The vet thought she was a little bit older than 10 when I first brought her to the vet, but that didn't matter. Everyone's bond with their pet is so different, but through those 4 years, the bond I had with Ollie was like, honestly, nothing I could have ever imagined having with anybody. She's so special. I carried her around from room to room, always. She wanted to be held all the time. She was always staring at me, even from another room. Like, I'd be sitting watching TV on the couch, and she's in the kitchen on her little oven mitt, just staring at me. Like, we were just madly in love with each other. And I'm sure a lot of people think that's crazy and thought I was totally nuts with Ollie, but I had her for about 4 years, and I can honestly say that the joy she brought me in those 4 years was so worth this horrible pain that I'm feeling this week. I knew it would be horrible to lose her. I knew it would. And I actually said to Steve this week, I just hope you know that when Ollie dies, it's going to be the worst thing. Like, the worst. And I knew that it would. And I said, I hope I never have to put her down. Like, I hope she just goes in her sleep. And I just knew if I had to make the decision to let her go, it would have been really hard. And she probably would have ended up suffering because I never would want her to go anywhere. She's like my shadow, literally my shadow. Like TMI, but I could be going to the bathroom and she's sitting right next to me. Or I'm in the shower and she's, perched outside of the tub. Or she's just one of a kind. And we had a plan, Ollie and I, to make a video this week together about how adopting seniors is so overlooked and so amazing, but we didn't get to make that video. So that's another message I'm trying to get through on this video about the senior thing. This week is probably one of the hardest weeks for me, and like I said, the joy she brought me daily, I wouldn't trade that for the world. Like 4 years, it seemed like forever. I would never, ever have done anything different. And, she had her flaws. She, as you guys know, she would eat with her paws, fling it around the room, pee where she wasn't supposed to pee. She was a messy little monkey. I had her in diapers. I had to wash her paws. She had to have baths all the time. She'd wake me up with poop in her diapers, and I'd have to give her a bath at 3 o'clock in the morning. And all of those things, bonded us so much. I wouldn't change it for the world. She was amazing. And what's helping me get through this difficult time are all those memories of her. My whole house screams Ollie. So a lot of people might have seen me at the cafe this week or, expected me to be this emotional wreck. And I'm not. Because when I'm busy or when I'm at the cafe or when I'm doing the things I need to get done, I'm able to do those things. And I think that's why I'm trying to keep so busy, because when I get in my car to drive home, I'm a mess because I always drove with Ollie on my lap. I feel empty when I'm driving home without her, and that's really, really hard. And then I get home and I see her little package of diapers, and I see her, diaper in the garbage can, or I see her little packages of the stews and the delectables and her little churro packets and all these things that she loved so much and that she needed in her life. And it's really hard. So when I'm home or when I'm in the car is the hardest. I really try to just, embrace those emotions and cry my eyes out. And that's just, I think, what you need to do when you're grieving. Everyone grieves differently. So this isn't really like me telling you what to do, but I'm just telling you what's helped me. The people at the cafe that I work with have been so, so amazing. They're literally like my family, and I think Ollie was part of their family as well. She was there every day. She was there for everyone's shift, and she was like everyone's cat. And they tell me, stay home, we got this, like, don't worry about coming in. And to be honest, that's the last thing I want to do. I don't want to be here surrounded by her things and her memories, and like I'll do that later. I'll do that when I get home, when I can cry and just go to sleep. But these cats at the cafe are also my entire life, and I want to be there with them, and I want to know that, I'm making them happy and I'm helping them, and I'm able to give them the little treats that they want and pet them when they need it and protect them, from whatever I need to protect them from, and I want to be there. So find something that you love so much and something that makes you really, really happy, and do that. And I say this knowing that it's not possible for everyone to do, but just make time, maybe after work, for yourself to go and do the things that you love, and embrace your feelings and embrace, those memories of your pet. I sleep with her little panda vest, but I just hold it and I sleep with it. And, the past couple of weeks, I've been sleeping with her where she stays. Like, a lot of times she'd leave in the middle of the night, but she's been sleeping with me and really embracing me back. And she wears that little panda vest, and me taking that to bed with me, it really, really helps. So maybe find something that your pet loved, or that your pet wore, or that, like, one of their favorite toys, and just keep it with you all the time. It really, really seems to help. I didn't expect this to happen. We left that morning, Wednesday morning, just like any other day, and she sat with me, and we drove to the cafe. We went to Walgreens, picked up the pictures for the adoptable cat board. She was great. She was perfect. She had been getting a little bit skinny in the past week or two, but she was eating and she was acting fine and a little more cuddly. So I kind of had a feeling that it might come soon, but soon meant like a year. Because as far as I know, she's only about 14 or 15. But I'm hoping she was 25. And I was doing my cafe thing, cleaning, petting the cats, and then I just found her, and she had passed away. And that was really, really a shocker for me. And it was the worst day ever. And now, a few days later, when I can kind of process it more, I'm almost glad that it happened this way. I was absolutely dreading her getting sick and me having to euthanize her. Dreading it. And I always have believed in everything happens for a reason. And I think that, Brody died, which in turn helped me open up the Shabby Tabby. So I really feel that happened when it happened for a reason. A lot of things in my life happened for a reason, breakups and, going to certain places, meeting certain people, I'm huge on that. Whenever people come to me for advice and comfort for things, I help them with the everything happens for a reason theory, because I really, truly believe it. And I need to remind myself of that during this difficult time, because it happened for a reason. And it happened the way it did because it was supposed to. And a big part of grieving your pet, I've been seeing and reading that it's guilt. And the amount of guilt I felt those first couple of days was wild. And I think that's something everyone goes through. Whether it's guilt that you let your pet walk around the neighborhood, guilt that you didn't get your pet to the vet sooner and you could have caught something sooner, or you should have done more and not let them go. That's just a part of grief, and that's just, everyone's going to feel it. And you have to try your hardest to let that go, because beating yourself up is not going to help you get through the difficult time any easier. Get through the guilt, realize that what you did was right, that's your best friend, everything happens for a reason. I've been seeing a lot of pet psychics who truly believe that animals decide when they want to go. And regardless of the way that they do it at that time because that's their decision. And I really hope this is true. And just hearing that theory helps me get through it. So it helps me get through the guilt. It helps me get through the, should I have been carrying her around? Should I have been feeding her? Should I have been looking for her sooner? Could I have prevented this? I hope, and I truly believe that I couldn't have. It happened the way she wanted it to happen. And we don't want it to happen. We don't want it to happen ever. But, she wanted it that way. So that's giving me the peace now. She knew that it was happening, and she knows that I didn't want to see it happen or have to make it happen by euthanizing. That I didn't want to see her sick. I don't want to see her suffer. So I think that they make that decision. And she decided, I'm out. I'm going. And I guess I appreciate that. So don't beat yourself up, is what I'm saying. The other thing that I had trouble with this time around was what to do with her body, because I found her, so I had her body, and we're all different. But let me tell you, I carried that body around all night. I wrapped her in a blanket, and she was so peaceful. She just looked like she was sleeping. And I held her. I sat on the couch like I normally do, watched a movie with her, carried her around. And I felt a little bit insane. But it helped. I'm used to carrying her around. Like, I wasn't ready to not. Like, it's my little baby. So I kept her wrapped in a blanket, and I kissed her and kissed her and kissed her, and kissing a dead body, it didn't matter. Like, it helped me so much. Just her fur and her scent and her little body. But you can't do that for that long. So I put her in her little bed in her condo, because sometimes she would sleep in her little condo. And I kept her there. And the next day I had to go to work. And I had to make the decision. And you can't just leave a body sitting around. So I had to decide, cremate her or bury her. I've never been a cremate and get the ashes person. Like, even with Brody, he was in the hospital, and when he passed, I did the group cremation. Everyone is so different with this, but having her ashes, I don't think would ever have helped me. because it's not her. Like, she's gone. Nothing's really going to help me personally, whether I have her ashes or a little jar that has her in it, or even her paw print. Like, Ollie was so much, and she was so much life, and having her ashes, I don't think really would have helped me personally. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to order a million things with her picture on it, or you know, I already ordered a necklace with her name on it. I have a big picture blown up at the cafe with her. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to do a million things for her, but having her ashes wouldn't have done it for me. It wouldn't have done anything. It may have made me sadder. I'm not sure. But I also didn't want to bring her somewhere and leave her and never see her again. Like, do the group cremation. So I decided that we should bury her. I don't see myself not living in this house anytime soon. It's like a family house with my fiance's family. It's been around for a long time. I love it. He loves it. It's going to be in the family, whether we live here or someone else lives here. So for me, burying her was the best option. If you live in an apartment or something that's super temporary, it's not going to be the best option for you. I know there are other options. I think the Regency I was going to go to have her cremated, they might have like a little cemetery. I'm not sure, but we buried her here. That was really hard, but we did it, and I planted a little flower. I'm not the best gardener in the world, but it's good for now. I'm going to see how it blooms and stuff. I do plan to plant more during planting season. And I'm ordering a little stone that says something on it. And I'm not ready to order it yet because I don't know what I want it to say. And I don't want to wish that I said more. Or this whole grieving process, it requires so much emotion and so much thought every single move you make. It's exhausting. Like, the amount of hours I've slept in the past couple of days it's insane. But it's helped me. It's helped me a lot. I am just absolutely dying to have a dream about her, and I hope that comes eventually. But my whole house reminds me of her, and it's helping. So make sure you keep those memories. I think that's good for anyone who's grieving. You know, keep their things, keep a blanket from them, or keep their favorite toy. Make a little memorial of them. That's the kind of stuff that helps me. That's how I'm getting through it. And I want you guys to know that I'm surrounded by cat lovers constantly. I'm so lucky for that. But I know that if I didn't have the cafe, I probably wouldn't be surrounded by cat lovers. When I worked at the hospital, I was surrounded by not many cat lovers. And I know that most people have, a regular job where they're surrounded by people that they might not have much in common with. They might not even like them. And it might be hard to have people who get it and understand this horrible pain that you're going through. And maybe you don't even have friends that really understand it, because I know when I lost Brody, I didn't have a lot of friends that have experienced that loss and had that much of a love for pets. So that was really hard for me. I had my mom, and she really understood it, and she helped me get through it. And I had Steve, and he helped me get through it. He's lost a pet before. But I want you guys to know that we are always here. Like, seriously, if you lose a pet or you know someone who's going through this pain, send them to us. Like, even if they want to message us on Instagram or email us, like, I'm here all the time, and I would love to help anyone get through this difficult time, because everyone needs someone like that, and we totally get it. This is the loss that everyone's going through at the cafe, so we understand, and we're here for you all the time. Even if you want to visit us, and we'll help you get through it. Just talking to people really helps, and we're here, and we can be those people for you. All right, so I'm really, really sorry for anyone who's lost a pet or lost anyone, because this is the worst pain. But you'll get through it, and just take your time. Don't rush through it. Stay distracted and stay busy, but at the same time, deal with these emotions and cry it out and look through your phone. Like, I dreaded looking through my camera roll, because at least 80% is Ollie. It's just, she was my whole life. So every single picture is either a cafe cat or her. So when I'm ready to deal with my emotions at the end of the night, I scroll through and I laugh and I cry and I relive those moments. And that's probably, what helps me the most. Just having all those memories. I'll never get rid of them. Sucks. Sucks to lose them, but I can promise that the joy that they bring us while they're here doesn't compare to the feeling of losing them. And I would never go back, and I would never not adopt a senior because I might not have them for 20 years, because these 4 years were like, I can't even imagine not having her. So I understand when people come into the cafe and they say, oh, I want to adopt, but I lost a cat, and I don't want to deal with that loss again, and I don't want to deal with that pain again, and I don't want to adopt because it's so painful to lose them, which it is. But think about the time when you have them and how much joy they bring you. I'd say adopt. I'm already ready for my next senior, because not to replace Ollie, but I want to make another cat happy. I want to have another best friend and show another shelter cat that their life isn't doomed, and whoever sent them to the shelter, forget about them. It's time to feel love again, and it's time to be part of a family, and to, have your favorite treats and have your favorite food, and, be spoiled up until the very end. So don't forget that when you lose a pet, you can provide that much love for the next one.